What's going on, guys? So I just finished normal difficulty on my Summoner Druid, and I wanted to make this video to share the pros and cons, in my opinion, of this build, and some of the challenges that I faced with this build as well through all the acts. So starting with the first act, I mean, it was pretty smooth for most part. I put my first points into Raven, and then once I got to level 6, I started putting it into Summon Wolf, and this is sped up 2 times, but I ended up finding a helmet that gave me 1 to Werebear, and this allowed me to do a bit more damage alongside my summons. But I didn't put any hard points into anything other than the summoner, or the summoning tree. So Raven and Wolf so far. So pretty good so far to start off. I mean, it's pretty good against all types of enemies so far in normal. There's no really resistance or anyone that's physical resistance, so it was pretty smooth. As I got to Act 2, I noticed that, and I needed to help out the damage because it wasn't that much that the summons do with the Raven and the Wolf. So I had to use my Druid and put some points into Dexterity because the attack rating wasn't enough. And I only had about maybe like a 70 to 80% chance to hit towards Act 2. So I got my cube, and the run time started to slow down a little bit because I wasn't doing too much damage. I didn't have a great weapon, and even though all my skill points were into the summons, they weren't doing all that much damage. They do decent against like multi-targets, and they can wear them down over time, but it's a slow process. My biggest challenge was Duriel. So the slow and the freeze, and you just keep killing the wolves over and over and over. This took me a long time to do. But I ended up finishing it with a lot of trips to town, and it took me 1 hour and 32 minutes. With another character, it might probably take me under an hour to do. But we made it to Act 3. And this was more of the same. I started adding more points into Dexterity because I had to keep up with the being able to hit these enemies with a higher attack rating I needed. I also put 1 point into Heart of the Wolverine because that gives a greater attack rating, which helped out my summons, although it doesn't have much life and it just wanders around, so it gets killed a lot. So that was kind of frustrating. You can't like make it stay in one spot. So at this point I had 5 wolves and 5 ravens. Then that's the max summons you could have. And I put some points into Dire Wolf too, but I tried to use them and they really weren't. Wolf was still better than using Dire Wolves because they died so quickly. My next challenge was Mephisto. I had to keep resummoning the wolves and the ravens because the ravens die out after they hit a certain counter of number of hits, though they can't be attacked by the enemies, which is good. So you should kind of like whittle the enemy down over time. So on to Act 4. We beat Mephisto, and our next challenge was Izul, which was pretty painful. It took a long time to kill him. I wasn't able to deal that much damage, and my summons were slowly whittling away at him. So at this point I have the Dire Wolves going, and they have a decent amount of life, but you can see here that Diablo just keeps killing them over and over and over, and that's what I did for about half an hour or longer. And finally, like I did with the other bosses, I kept whittling them down. I used all my gold and potions, and finally I was able to kill him. It took me 2 hours and 40 minutes with this. So if you're going to level a druid, I would level with the elemental skills rather than like a wind druid or something, rather than the summoner. Just my opinion. So I got to the ancients in Act 5, and I thought this was going to be a challenge, but it actually was easier than the other bosses in my opinion. They didn't kill my summons that quick. My biggest challenges were the slows in the cold areas, and anytime myself or my summons got frozen. I did have to hire a mercenary for the Blessed Aim, the Act 2 Blessed Aim mercenary, in order to increase the attack rating of myself. and that, along with the Heart of the Wolverine, allowed me to eventually kill these enemies. Um, so for Bale, I just kept hiding and summoning, and eventually whittled him down. I almost got to Bale the first time, and I got disconnected. So this whole thing took me probably like over 3 hours. Realistically, it probably should have taken me like 2.5. But that's my experience so far. I'm hoping that, knowing what I learned from normal difficulty, my plan for Nightmare is going to be put at least one hard point into Werebear, Maul, and the Shockwave ability, which allows you to stun enemies, and also level up to at least 40 doing World Stone runs and Chaos runs, so I can get those Dire Wolves maxed out, and hopefully they'll help me in Nightmare more efficiently than they did in normal. So we will see. If anyone has made a Summoning Druid all the way through, let me know what your tips are. I'm sure if you guys have done it, you've done something more efficiently than I have. So let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.